My permanent resident application has been denied. It's not really easy. Anybody who has ever been refused a visa or denied permanent residency, it's so hard not to cry. But, it's life. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I have very sad news coming out of Canada. My permanent resident application has been denied, you guys. Just as simple as that. And I'm currently going through a range of emotions, and I'm sad, I am pissed off, I am confused, I really don't know where to start. And it's annoying, it's hectic, it's annoying, it's so disappointing, and it's so unfortunate. Anybody who has gone through this process knows exactly how disappointing this can be. 4 years ago, I packed my bags, packed everything I had into 3 suitcases. Were they 3 or 4? I think there were 3 suitcases. Gave out everything else to my family members, my friends, and some of them I sold. And I packed everything that I had known into these suitcases and decided to move to Canada. Initially, my move was not to be permanent. I actually intended to stay here for 2 years, do my studies, see how it goes. If I don't like it, go back. 4 years later, as you can imagine, I loved this place and I decided to make it home. However, for you to make it home, there are processes that you have to go through. Some of the processes as an international student that you have to go through is you finish your education. After graduation, you apply for work permit. And depending on the route that you have chosen to apply for your permanent residency, there are timelines for different pathways. Personally, I chose the TR to PR pathway. And I don't know if you know, but this was a temporary public policy that was actually introduced by the Minister of Immigration just when COVID hit and employers needed so many people to work. This temporary policy was to ensure that temporary residents who are already in Canada can apply for permanent residency without having to, for example, like an international student, wait until they graduate. And so the conditions that were part of this, I qualified for all of them because I had been working for over 1,500 hours since I came here, and that was one of the eligibility criteria. The other eligibility criteria was that you must be working in healthcare, or you are an international graduate, or you work in essential services. So those were the 3 major criteria for qualifying. And of course, you must have had at least 1,500 hours at the time of application. So I did qualify for this. I placed my application on the 5th of November. I had all the qualifications at the time of application, and so I submitted my application to IRCC. There was a long wait. That was in November. December, nothing. January, February, March, there was nothing. Towards the end of March, that's when I received an acknowledgement of receipt. So usually when you submit an application, they send you an acknowledgement of receipt. So I got that and was like, oh, thank goodness somebody finally reached my application. Somebody's looking at it, or at least they're starting to look at it. In April, I submitted my police certificate, which I didn't have at the time of application. And this was one of the documents that you were allowed not to have at the time of application, as long as you had made steps towards getting it. As you all know, getting a police certificate, depending on the country you're coming from, can be challenging. For Kenya, I am so lucky that I can just do a mail application through the Embassy of Kenya here in Canada in Ottawa. In April of 2022, I got the police clearance, certificate from the Embassy of Kenya in Ottawa. And I immediately scanned it and sent it through a web form to IRCC. They acknowledged receipt, and after that was a long silence. It was long silence. I even had forgotten that I had applied for permanent residency. Now, in April, that's when I had lots of events happening. I graduated in April, if you can remember, April of 2022, and I took you guys through the process of getting a work permit at the border. Videos are linked above. And I got my 3-year work permit in May. So after this, I continued working. I was already working. I continued working and I never stopped. The only thing I stopped doing was thinking about my permanent residency application, because at this point, like, it took so long without hearing from IRCC. And I figured like a lot of people wait like 12 months or 18 months or even over 2 years sometimes, depending on the route. Being that this was a public policy, there was no timeline for it. And so whenever you get it is whenever you get it. And so I had kind of forgotten about it. And I was like, okay, whenever they need anything, usually they send you an email that you need to take action on your profile. So I will get that email and act on it. So I wasn't worried of missing any information requirement from IRCC. And so that's the year, you guys, that was so eventful. After graduation, I continued working and then I went to my Euro tour. And this is for the OGs, people who have been here for long. But if you're new, don't worry. All the videos are in this channel. You can always watch after this, finish this, and then you can continue watching. I went to Europe, toured Europe, came back because I had the Canada visitor's visa, and so that was not a problem for me traveling out of the country. So I went to Europe, came back, and then when I came back, I decided to change provinces. So again, I came to Canada, and the first province that I landed was British Columbia, and I'm so happy that I did. Before I came to Canada, I didn't know anything about British Columbia. I didn't watch any videos about British Columbia. I just googled the school, and British Columbia, I mean, my school, Thompson Rivers University, showed up, and I applied, and that's how I got my my student permit to come study in Canada. Prior to that, I had no information. I had not googled anything about Canada or provinces in Canada, and so I just found myself in British Columbia, which I thank God for because it's the most beautiful. I just thought I should put it out there. After I came back from Europe, I decided to change provinces and go to Alberta. I mean, Canada is so big, so why not try somewhere else? And so this decision was made within 1 week. Sometimes I can be very spontaneous. I made the decision, gave a notice at my workplace for two weeks. And then after that 2 weeks, mid-October, I remember on the 12th, I drove myself to Calgary. The reason why I was in a rush to move is because I didn't want winter to find me in British Columbia. Otherwise, I would wait until the next spring to be able to move. The roads can be really bad here in Canada during winter, and so I didn't want to risk driving when it's snowy out. I rented a U-Haul and packed my things into the U-Haul, of course, with the help of a friend. Thank you so much, Johnson, for your help. I really do appreciate, like, you were so helpful helping me pack up my stuff into the van. Thank you so much, and God bless you. So after parking around 7 p.m., I started the journey to drive to Calgary. I drove all the way 6 hours away from where I was living in Vernon to Calgary. I thank God because people around the world are just beautiful people and kind people. I met some kind souls. I met a church elder in Calgary who welcomed me with his whole hands and just welcomed me into his home. He was living alone. His kids are older, so they moved out already. So, you know, he let me stay in one of his rooms in Calgary, and yeah, I stayed there for 2 months, and he let me stay without paying rent, and I thank God. Like, I thank God for him. God bless you, Peter, wherever you are. I know you might not watch this video, but thank you so much, and God bless you as you continue helping other people. And so Peter took me in as his own daughter. He treated me like his own child. God bless you for me, Peter. Anyways, I got to Calgary and I got a job again in Calgary, and I was working there for 2 months. So that was mid-October to mid-November, and then to about 9th of December, I received an email. And I was so curious because it came from IRCC. This was the letter. It was a refusal letter. I saw the letter and my heart sank. I was shaking. I was crying. I was nervous. I was confused. I was disappointed. I didn't know what to do. It took me a whole day and a half to just gather my thoughts together. Yeah, as I was telling you, this letter was sent on December 7th. I don't know if you can see that. Right. December 7th, 2022 is when I got the letter. And guys, this is a different kind of pain. The only thing that you're looking and living for is destroyed. I was shaking. I was crying. I didn't even tell nobody in my family members back home because I didn't want to stress them out. I'm gonna read it for you guys. I'm gonna put it on the screen because I have a soft copy of it so that you can see the letter. The letter reads, "Dear Annie," of course my full names, I'm not gonna say my full names even though I know you guys know my name, but "Dear Annie, this refers to the application for permanent residence you made under the temporary public policy, temporary resident to permanent resident pathway, TR to PR pathway, international graduates. So first of all, IRCC made a mistake. I didn't apply under international graduate, I applied under healthcare. But that doesn't matter because the reason for denial was different. It continues. The assessment of your application for permanent residence has been completed and it has been determined that you do not meet the eligibility requirement of this public policy. Blah, 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 blah. You guys, you can pause and read the whole thing, but pretty much it went ahead and explained the eligibility criteria that I had to meet. And this is the other page. And there's a third page. I was more interested in why I did not meet the eligibility criteria when I actually, for sure, I thought I did. So they highlighted the reasons after explaining. You can see this place is darker. This place. So they highlighted the eligibility criteria that I did not meet. It says, at the time of application, you must have submitted an application for permanent residence using the forms provided by the department for this public policy, and which must include at the time of application all proof necessary to satisfy an officer that the applicant meets the conditions in bracket eligibility requirements of this public policy, except for evidence required to demonstrate physical presence in Canada at the time of application approval. It says, at the time of application, you did not provide the following required information: a complete schedule of IMM 0130 form. The schedule 3 provided has missing information. For the reasons set out above, I'm not satisfied that you meet the requirements of the TR to PR pathway. I am therefore refusing your application for permanent residence per section 25.2 of the Act, as your application was deemed incomplete at the time of submission. You will receive a refund of the right of permanent residence fee that you have paid in approximately 6 to 8 weeks. The decision communicated in this letter constitutes the definitive and final decision on your present application. Yours sincerely, IRCC. Guys, I don't know if you can tell that I'm shaking while I'm reading this letter, but that has been my reality since 2022 December, and I wasn't able to talk to you then because I was still processing it. It's something that really affected me and took so much from me, and just because I was so confused and I was so disappointed, and I was now figuring out, my next steps. I wasn't ready to talk to you guys about it. Not even my family members knows. I told Peter because then he was like my father. I told my best friend who was living with me at the time at Peter's place as well. And just a few friends here and there. And that's it. Because it took me like almost a year now. It's been a year now since I was denied permanent residency. And I'm only finding it comfortable to talk to you about it right now. Even the immigration videos, you have seen that I actually just kind of slowly disappeared from the radar because I didn't have that energy. There's no way I can be talking to you people about immigration when my own has been refused. It doesn't make sense. I want to be really authentic with you guys, and I want to be sure of the things that I'm talking about and teaching you guys. So I didn't feel like I'm the right person to talk about immigration after the refusal, just because I didn't want to seem like I was preaching water and I'm drinking wine. I really wanted to be like authentic and sincere with you guys. That's my situation right now. It's been 1 year, and I believe somebody might be asking that, Annie, if your permanent residency application was denied, how come you're still in Canada? Are you illegal or what's happening? No, I'm not illegal here in Canada. I'm still on my work permit. Remember, I told you guys that I graduated in 2022, same year. My permanent residency was rejected. I had my 3 years work permit. At the time of denial, I already had only used 6 months almost of my work permit. So I still had almost 2.5 years of work permit. So we are in January 2024. My work permit expires in May of 2025. Yeah. You know what? There's nothing as painful as a visa or a denial. It's a different type of pain. First, you're in pain, you're in shock, you are disappointed, you are confused, and then you get to the stage of denial, and then you get to the stage of depression. So all that, I went through all that, and my people, it's not easy. It's not easy. Oh, why don't you just go back to Kenya? It's easier said than that. First of all, I've built myself here. I already left everything in Kenya. Like, how am I just gonna just uproot myself, go back to Kenya and start afresh? Like, it's really hard to do, harder done than said. I mean, if I have no choice, like come May 2025, if I have no choice, then I will definitely go back to Kenya and of course start afresh because I have no choice. But it's not that easy, you know. How are you gonna start? What are you gonna tell people? Like, where are you gonna apply for jobs? It's just so hard, and there's so many things to think about and like to, you know, to focus on. Anyways, you guys, I didn't mean for this video to be so sad as it has been. I'm so sorry if I if I was too sad, but that's the reality of life sometimes. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for sticking here. Thank you so much for the new people who have clicked. And I hope you have subscribed and shared my videos, and just leave a comment. A red heart emoji will like go a long way in helping me get my mood better, or you know, yeah. Or maybe just a word of encouragement in the comment section, you guys. I really would appreciate that. It's not really easy. It's so hard not to cry, but you know, it's life. Sometimes life has to hit us like that. Sometimes it hits so hard you don't even know how to start, but that's life. So anyways, guys, before I make this video so sad, thank you so much. Thank you. I hope that you're okay wherever you are. Okay, guys, I'll see you in my next video.